You're tuned into the Now Morning Show, Tobago Thursday edition, and as we are approaching the season, it makes sense that we have a discussion where we hear from our little voices and we check in with our primary plenary. To do that, Sophia Cooper, the Special Program Coordinator of the Assembly Legislature of the THA, joins us via Zoom here on the Now. Good morning, Sophia.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm actually excited about this conversation because we were privy to the plenary before, giving a sense of understanding, purpose, and even involvement and inclusion to younger students into the political system of the THA. And now it's being taken a step further with little voices approaching those in preschool. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the plenary to begin with, because this is the second one, and granted that we will be seeing older students in this conversation exploring plenary, will there be changes to what we learned from the first one? And then we'll get into the preschoolers.
What we did last year was to cover all primary schools with our primary school tour. And that simply is engaging all SCA students and some Standard 4 students as well, introducing them to the Assembly Legislature, debating parliamentary procedures and the stuff that we do at the Assembly Legislature. But of course, as you could imagine, the chamber can only hold so many people. So we actually did half the number of primary schools last year in the debate. And so we're doing the other half of those primary schools this year. So while all primary schools experience the primary plenary school tour, we have a system in place where we cover all the schools, but every year we do a different number of schools in the actual plenary.
So what were some of the successes or significant takeaways coming out of that first endeavor? Because I'm sure those students were bursting with excitement afterwards.
Can I tell you that one of the schools that we visited this week, the principal was excited when she welcomed us, and she said, you know what you all did last year? I had students debating with me on things that they need at the school. She said, this is what you all did, but she was smiling when she was saying it, because what we've introduced is a way for students to figure out how to deal with conflict in a way that gets them to a solution. So here we had these students using the debating techniques, using parliamentary procedures at school with their principal. And that's because they went through the training last year, and that particular school actually had students in the debate. So that's the kind of experience we want to give to primary school students.
Fantastic. And now you're taking it a step further with the preschoolers. Of course, not on that grand scale of debating per se, but tackling something that we can all use, some help with our speech. Tell me a little bit about Little Voices.
For the preschoolers, we've attempted a different approach. Of course, as you can imagine, we're trying to create experiences that would match the age group.
Right.
And so what we want to introduce to the preschoolers is this concept of the Assembly Legislature as the seat of democracy in Tobago. And so we've asked the parents and the teachers who are helping the little ones to focus on the Assembly Legislature building as that touchstone, quite literally, where they can capture information about Tobago's legislative history in a way that those students can share with the rest of us. So while the primary school students are taking part in a debate, the preschoolers are going to be engaging in a verse speaking experience where they focus on Tobago's legislative history over the last 200 years. So just imagine that this building that I'm in right now, which houses the members of the Tobago House of Assembly whenever they have plenary sittings, that is going to be the subject of their verse speaking competition.
Powerful stuff. I mean, just the rich history, 200 years plus to talk about. I can't wait to see these little voices echo those sentiments. But there are dates that we need to pay attention to, because while we've already started with the primary school students, I believe that started on the 12th, we do have some time with the youngsters. Tell me dates.
Exactly. So we did send out the information for the preschoolers a bit before, and the deadline for submission is June 12th, which is actually the day that we have the plenary sitting for the primary schoolers. So it's going to be a wonderful day, that June 12th. And although we have both the preschoolers and the primary schoolers having something to do on that day, what we're hoping is that we truly engage members of the public. Whether you're there for the preschoolers or you're there for the primary schoolers, we'll have the members of the public, both in Tobago and in Trinidad, engaged and focused on the Assembly Legislature on that day.
Now, the last time around when the students were invited into the building and actually engaged in the debate, there was, as you mentioned, viewing for maximum capacity. Are we talking, though, about being digitized so that persons can connect online and be part of this from Trinidad as well?
Certainly. One of the things in our standing orders is that we're required to broadcast any sittings. And so the presiding officer, Ms. Abby Taylor, has taken the position that even though these are not the elected members or the councillors in the House, once there is a sitting, then those experiences are going to be broadcast live for members of the public. It's just as important to show that members of the public can participate in their own democracy, not just every 5 years for general election or every 4 years for THA elections. We're talking about continuous participation while we're here taking care of Tobago's people's business. And by extension, it means inviting people who live in Trinidad to see what we're doing on the island.
This is phenomenal work, Sophia. I applaud you wholeheartedly because, as you rightfully say, there should be continuous participation from the adults. And so you're starting in the right place so that they have that inculcated in them as an organic thing. It's beautiful to see, and certainly something that I really hope continues and will do my best to support. I'll be tuning in. How do we connect to see and be part of this?
Just check our social media pages, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. Search for Tobago House of Assembly Legislature. We're on TikTok. And of course, you could go to our website, tobagolegislature.org.
Now, if anything, persons who want to have their youngsters, particularly the preschoolers and the little voices, participate, are there separate pages or alternatives we need to connect and register for that one?
Just go straight to our website, tobagolegislature.org, and we have updates regularly on our social media pages. And of course, you can just check us at the Assembly Legislature if you want to get the information directly from myself or another member of staff. So our number is 639-2616. But I kind of figured that people will get through faster on social media. So send us a message on Facebook and we'll respond.
Well, I'll send you a message because I want that link as we are getting ready to add two dates to our calendar, technically. The 12th, both for May and then for June when we have the culmination. But for now, best of luck and thank you again for joining us this morning, Sophia.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Sophia Cooper, the Special Program Coordinator for the Assembly Legislature of the THA, giving us some things to be excited about. It was poor-raising when she talked about making sure that she inculcates that sense of continuous participation and understanding of the political system, something that is lacked across generations. They're making a huge impact. I'm genuinely excited about this.
I think it's such an exciting thing as well. And as you would have mentioned, the adults, parents have to get involved too, because trust and believe, you can't learn 200 years all there by your lonesome. You're going to have some help from your mom and dad. But I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to come out of it. Also just as excited as you and hoping you're as excited to be here with us this morning on the Now Morning Show. We're going to go to the break, and we're going to the break with the sweet sounds of Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival.